So we've got our business plan in place. We've obviously worked hard. I'm guessing we are working on that with them if we want to.
Yes, absolutely.
What's the next stage after we've developed that business plan with them?
Yeah, and it's stick to the plan. Yeah, follow it and execute it.
Okay, so obviously following the plan is a really important one. So how can we help them follow that plan?
Yeah, so we would hold the client accountable. As a business owner, it's lonely at the top, and having someone to talk to about where you want to go and how things are going can be really helpful in getting their thoughts clear and their direction. So the way we would do that here is to hold monthly and quarterly meetings. And like I say, hold them accountable to what we've agreed in previous meetings, and making sure the trajectory, the direction of where they're going is incrementally going in the right place.
And if you have no plan in place, you don't know where you're going.
Strings coming from all angles.
You summed it up absolutely perfectly. If you haven't got a map, how do you know where you're going?
Absolutely. Fires are appearing and you're going to put them out as and when they appear.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, trying to get your family to understand that is very difficult. And I know I had a meeting with a client the other day who kind of was having the same arguments with their partner, that they were having to go in and work on a Saturday because a member of the staff was off and that sort of thing. And it is really difficult trying to explain to your family why you're having to go out to work and you're working extra and that sort of thing. Where does your advice come in? Because most of the time, I know when we see people, we're seeing them in distress times, which is, I can't do this anymore.
Yes.
I cannot continue to live this life. I'm working harder than when I was employed. I'm earning less money than I was employed. And I'm not seeing my family. So that's when we tend to pick them up. So, where do you start with your advice at that point? It's very obvious to see they're in distress when they sit down. They've got bags bigger than Marks and Spencer's bags under their eyes.
I think
if the supermarket's available.
If we just rewind time a little bit there, what I like to do when someone comes in that sort of position is dial it back with them and understand why they started out and why they are where they are now. But before the distress and before things went wrong, actually ask the question, what drew you to do this in the first place? And working with them and rediscovering the interest or the passion. Because a lot of people mistake an entrepreneur with a business owner. There's a thing of being a technician in your field and thinking, yes, I'm good at this job. I can now go and set up by myself and do the job and earn money and be my own boss. However, once you're in that position, you quickly realize you've got to wear lots and lots of different hats, and you're no longer just the technician. So myself as an accountant, I could set up an accountancy firm like yourself, but then I'd have to quickly learn everything else that comes with it. Managing people, managing clients, managing cash flow. And sooner rather than later, you're dragged away from the actual heart of your work and your profession. And I think a lot of business owners don't realise that. And things go on for years and they get to a point where they need the help and support.
I think you're exactly right. It's people assume because they start a business, or rather because they're good at a skill, they'll be good at running a business. I think there's a very, very famous book, The E-Myth, Michael Gerber, which is kind of exactly where we're talking here. Where actually, because I think he uses a hairdresser as the example, because I can cut someone's hair, I can run a business. And it's just not like that. And I think a lot of people get embarrassed asking for help because they think, because I've got a business, I should know how to do everything. I should know how to balance the books. I should know how to do marketing. I should know how to do the operations side and make sure all the equipment's correct and make sure everything's working. And actually, the fact is, what you were good at was cutting hair. And there is a learning curve.